This video is kindly being sponsored by Masterworks. Hit the link in the video description below to get priority access and start investing in contemporary art. The so-called wolves of Wall Street are actually sad and abused dogs, says one banker. Ouch. What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about something that most people in the industry won't fill you in on or talk to you about because they want to protect their bank or their reputation and their careers, and that is the dark side of investment banking. And for those of you who are interested in investment banking careers or asset management careers, check out my last video where I compare the two, and so you can find out a bit more about, you know, the differences and similarities across asset management and investment banking. Now, before we start the video, today I've got a solid sponsor, a very interesting, excited sponsor. You can find out a bit more about them later on in the video, so keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. And everything you need is in the video description below. So without any further ado, let's get straight to the video. The dark side of investment banking. MBA Crystal Ball, check them out, link in the video description. You can find out more and read more of their articles. All right, more is never enough. This life philosophy of real-life billionaire stockbroker Jordan Belfort, the protagonist of Martin Scorsese's film The Wolf of Wall Street, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, seems to inspire at least some young people who aspire for a career in investment banking. Some go far enough to realize their professional goals and lifestyle dreams, while some give up their journey midway. But all of these people get to catch a glimpse of the ugly side of their chosen field. Alright, fluctuating fortunes. Investment banking is an endless party to only very few people, usually those at the top. To others, it's a roller coaster ride at best. An exhilarating high is almost always followed by a steep fall. This happens to those at the top as well, as each deal or transaction depends on a number of factors, many of them external. A change of mind on the part of one of the parties involved or a shift in their business circumstances can make or mar a deal. In the long term, there are also economic cycles and markets with their ups and downs to worry about. So one point to note, if you're going into the world of investment banking, you know, a lot of it is determined, and a lot of your business is determined by market factors, external factors that are out of your control. If there's a market cycle, up, down, if you're in a bear market where everything's going down, you're not gonna be as happy as you might be in a bull market, depending on the nature of your work. In the recent past, the IB industry has gone through particularly tumultuous times. The economic slowdown and the crash of capital markets almost wiped out banks' billion-dollar profits, leading to large-scale retrenchment and cutback in operations. Corporate scandals muddied banks' reputation and put the spotlight on their questionable business practices and ethics. Scam-tainted banks also took down with them other global institutions and financial systems. They lost their investors' trust. Think of financial crisis of 2008. Everyone was blaming the banks. People thought they were too big to fail, and then a lot of them started failing. And then everyone kind of labeled the banks as, or investment bankers as, scammers, robbing the general public for their money because they got bailed out by governments. And so there's not really a good reputation for being an investment banker. It's funny, when you're in university, and you know, a lot of people, when they think investment banker, it's like, oh wow, investment banking, you must be smart, you must be bright. But on the flip side, most people actually, when you say you're in investment banking, people think, you know, they might think of you negatively because they think, oh, you're contributing to scamming the general public, or you're a finance prick, or whatever it might be. So don't always think that, you know, everyone thinks of investment banking as this amazing career, because a lot of people don't. Before we carry on, I'm excited to announce today's video sponsor, Masterworks. Everyone knows that you can invest in real estate, gold, or stocks, but there's an asset class that's outpaced the S&P by 174% between the year 1995 and 2020. The asset is contemporary art. Contemporary art has the lowest correlation to the stock market of any major asset class, and it has shown to outperform during times of inflation. But with paintings selling for millions, you'd likely need tens or hundreds of millions of dollars in order to build an investment portfolio in contemporary art. I mean, it's easy for the rich, but it's not really accessible to the general public. Masterworks.io has emerged as the only platform taking billionaire art collectors head on and lets you access this exclusive investment. Simply put, you can now invest in the very same art they do by names like Banksy, Monet, Basquiat, and other iconic artists for just a fraction of what they pay to purchase. All you have to do is look at how these works have appreciated to understand just how exciting and lucrative investing in art can be. All you need to do to add these assets to your portfolio is simply visit masterworks.io, create an account, browse their latest artwork, and invest in any of the current offerings, just like how you would trade stocks on your smartphone. From there, you can either hold your shares until Masterworks sells the painting, or you can sell your shares on the secondary market. Investors already received a 32% annualized return in 2020 from their sale of Banksy's Mona Lisa. That's pretty impressive when you consider that just about every other investment platform was struggling for real returns over 10%. So what's the catch here? Well, there are 250,000 people on Masterworks, and they actually have a wait list to get started. So what I've done is I've partnered with them to allow you to skip that wait list at zero cost. So be sure to hit the link in the video description below in order to get priority access and start investing in contemporary art. Now let's get back to the video. Alright, salary. To those aspiring for finance jobs, compensation is the main attraction that IB holds. But salaries in the IB industry see many ups and downs, true, in tune with the crests and troughs of banks' business. Instability and insecurity are what recruits sign up for. Companies do a lot of hiring in the boom time and shed staff during the lean season. One thing to mention, when you join an investment bank, most banks cut tons of people every year if you're not performing, right? And so the reason why, they pay people high salaries because the work is demanding, but if you ain't cutting it, they'll fire you quickly. So don't think it's an easy ride, and if you're going into banking just for the money, typically you won't last. The financial incentives may be higher in investment banking, but there are still many areas of finance, such as private equity, corporate insurance, commercial banking, and wealth management, where the money is just as good. True. Within an investment bank, the investment banking division tends to pay the biggest bonuses compared to the other divisions, but base salaries kind of start at around the similar rate, but recently investment banking division is paying a bit more. In investment banking, you may start out better than professionals in other fields, but it is only when you get to the top and are almost a celebrity that you actually see the millions in bonuses that you always heard about. Yeah, look, if you think you're going to go into banking and every single person there is going to get rich, you're in for a shock, because not everyone is going to be rich. Not everyone earns millions. Most people get to the VP level, analyst, associate VP, or director level, and they stay there for the rest of their careers. Only a few make it to managing director or partner. So don't think it's an easy ride, because it's very, very competitive. You're competing with so many other competitive, ambitious, and able individuals. So it's very tough. For the rest of the cogs in the wheel, compensation is dependent on the deals they helped close. So if you're getting ready to go into investment banking mainly for the money, you may do well to review all the pluses and minuses of an IB job and the sacrifices that come with it. Listen to your mind and make a thorough comparison of your options. Sustainability. Getting into IB is tough, but sustaining yourself at the workplace is tougher. Yeah, imagine you're working 16, 17, 18 hours a day, not getting enough sleep, not eating healthily, not looking after yourself. How are you meant to be productive and efficient? It's tough. How are you meant to enjoy your life? It's tough. You may be smart, may interview well and get hired, but once on the job, you may find out that you are no magician and can't do everything well and always come up to the expectations of your organization. For example, you may not have as much ability to think strategically as your bosses. Yeah, some things come with time and experience. And you yourself imagined, you may not be able to digest the tons of business information that come your way and make sense of it. Or you may start well on your job but falter at higher levels where teamwork and leadership skills are prerequisites, then you don't have them. Repetitive tasks. Junior analysts at banks, so your first 2-3 years, start out looking for challenging tasks such as complex analysis. But 6 or 8 months down the road, they may realize that they are only doing the same task over and over again. Day in, day out, Excel spreadsheets, Microsoft PowerPoint, pitch books, day in, day out. Often it is just the same, often it is just the name of the client company that changes, logo changing, right? Then there comes a time when they stop hoping to learn anything new on the job. Look, you always want to be at a place where your learning curve is steep. You want to be learning something new continuously. Obviously, some things are going to be repetitive. That's the nature of any job. But you don't want to be doing the same thing over and over until your mind gets fried and you're bored to go into work because there's no growth and development. Colleagues, generally in IB, you are likely to be surrounded by a sea of overachievers, true, type A people, right? Who seem to be driven by some preternatural money-minded force. Not everyone is money-focused, but most of them are. There's nothing wrong with that. That's good, except that some of these people also have big egos, true, and are selfish and hard to get along with. You never know who's going to stab you in the back in the world of work, all industries, because people kind of focus and think about themselves. Individuals can be quite selfish and just focus on their careers, and they might do one over on you to get ahead of you and get a bigger bonus, bigger paycheck, what have you. As many disgruntled investment bankers confess and complain anonymously on online forums. True. Gee, it's getting bright. Alright. You may consider yourself ambitious, but not after seeing how some of your colleagues look out for themselves. You may find yourself lost among all those type A's. If you're incompetent, you will be eventually shown the door, and that is that. If you are reliable and have the ability to solve problems quickly and accurately, you are likely to strike great rapport with your boss and earn his praise. Or her praise. He may reward you, or she may reward you by giving you more work than he gives or she gives your colleagues. He's said he here, but to be fair, most senior professionals in banking are male, although there are females. Depending on colleagues can sometimes prove disastrous. For example, an associate almost always needs the support of their junior colleague, say an analyst. But sometimes the analyst might lack the capability and commitment to complete tasks on time. The associate would now have to pick up after the slacker colleague. The culture. Because of the goal-getters and type A personalities all around, the IB environment doesn't get to develop a nurturing culture. If you think about it, in the world of investment banking specifically, analysts join, they do 1 or 2 years, and typically they leave. They go to a competitor, or they go to a different industry, or they go into private equity or work for a hedge fund. So people come in and leave, do 2 years. There's a lot of churn, and so there's no time for these individuals to build relationships with their seniors and vice versa. And so naturally there's not like as he puts it here, a nurturing culture. It's just, I don't know, like a machine belt factory where people come in, do some time, and then bounce. Those who stay on to go become more senior, they don't invest the time into their analysts because, well, some might, but many don't, because they expect the analyst to leave after a year or two. No one has the time to train or cancel you. You better be a self-starter and learn by yourself. Look, if you're looking to go into an investment banking type of role, I would say to you, and if you're at uni or if you're a student or a graduate, you want to have solid, like very, very strong Excel, VBA, and Microsoft PowerPoint skills, because if you have all of that on lock, you're going to be more efficient than anyone else on the floor in terms of your analyst class, and that will just help you work faster and stand out, and it will make life easier because most of your day you're going to be on these type of programs. Some banks explore ways to keep their employees reasonably happy. For example, a few have introduced parental leave and a system by which couples can take some time off together. Other banks may have a terrible culture with no sensitive approaches to HR management. Work-life balance, the big one. That most investment bankers struggle to achieve a decent work-life balance is hardly a secret. Weekend plans regularly get cancelled, and live projects might come one after another and prevent you from doing any re-planning. Longer vacations may remain a distant dream, so also finding quality time or any time for your life partner as well. Look, if you're working in investment banking, especially as a junior, you're not going to have a life outside of work. if you're lucky, you might get a day free at the end of the week, but even that can be ruined because something might come up. So if you want work-life balance, don't go into investment banking. Later on, like I know people in the industry, the more senior you get, things ease up, but your decisions hold more weight. So, you know, after all, they're paying you lots of money, and so it's kind of like, you know, they own you because they're paying your salary. You can leave, but then they won't pay you. Simple. Clients are demanding, and most tasks have tough deadlines. For most young investment bankers, 100-hour work weeks are common. Most don't manage to find the energy for anything less. Long hours over a long period of time cause a quick burnout. Life is hard at the lower rungs. You may get away doing less time higher up, but you may be on call for clients all the time. Yeah, if the client's reaching out to you, you need to be there. Otherwise, you're going to lose the business. They might go to someone else because you're not servicing them well. This makes daily life unpredictable. For example, you may work in New York and have a client in Hong Kong who demands a phone discussion at the end of the normal work hours for him. Quite comfortable for this client, but you have at least a couple of precious hours of bedtime still left when you force yourself to take that call. An M&A analyst at a boutique investment bank says he decided to leave for a private equity job after 2 years, which is like the typical route. He says that although he got opportunities to enjoy various life cultures at his bank, he would certainly not miss them, as the job routine forced him to give up his personal life. Some of his colleagues worked excruciating schedules, clocking 140-hour weeks. 140 hours and straight 5 days at the office. Jeez, man. God. Lifestyle. Suicide among young investment bankers or among investment bankers is common, especially since the economic crisis of 2007-2008. Young bankers are said to be more prone to their own lives because of work pressure. Goldman Sachs reduced its working hours for interns to 17. Oh my God. Just to read that. Reduced its working hours for interns to 17 hours a day. After a 21-year-old Bank of America intern was found dead in his shower. This was when I was interning in 2013 after working 72 hours straight. He had suffered an epileptic seizure. Young employees seem particularly diffident and unwilling to protest when their bosses overburden them with work. Yeah, if your seniors are giving you tons of work, who are you meant to complain to? You can go and complain to HR, but there's no way HR are gonna, fire the boss or your managers. Like, you're at the bottom of the food chain, so you don't really feel like you have an option and you can't really say anything. So that's why some people, they can't handle that pressure, they burn out, they commit suicide, they leave the industry. If you're ever in that position, talk to a close friend or family, talk to someone rather than just dealing with it on your own. Many don't find time for anything else. The average working day has been reported to be 14 to 19 hours a day, with all-nighters on Sundays thrown in. The work level is also intense. Reports have it that it is a considerable professional risk for a young banker to take a 5-minute coffee break without grabbing her phone, to take her clients' calls or see their emails. The so-called wolves of Wall Street are actually sad and abused dogs, says one banker. Ouch. $1 million stories are rare in real life. It's so true. Most lower-level bankers have never gone to a yacht party or enjoyed a drink sitting on the hoods of their Lamborghinis. True. Rather, many are student loan burdened young men and women trying to pay off their debts as quickly as possible by working endlessly. Partly, the reason for that is, naturally, as human beings, the more you earn, the more you spend. Your expenses go up. If you want to, be a rich banker or whatever it is, let your income go up. Just manage your expenses. Be a bit more frugal, be a bit more conscious. You don't need to spend as much as you earn, otherwise you're going to go broke real quick. That's a message to students and graduates especially. They put up with the most boring stuff imaginable so that they can pursue their real interests and passions someday. Someday may never come, so try and live in the moment as well as planning for the future. Read A Day in the Life of an Investment Banker. Check out this guy's articles, very good stuff. It's all linked in the video description below. Last but not least, image. One banker says that the bad impression about investment bankers that society has formed based on scandals is well deserved. Investment bankers were originally established to extend loans to entrepreneurs who had great ideas but didn't have the money to bring them to life. It was thought that banks would also help society by helping businessmen and women and the economy thrive. But now banks seem to exist only for billionaires and their families and friends. Not much money is trickling down to people who need it the most. Even as young bankers are being squeezed dry of their youth and unwanted employees are being sent home, the big guns continue to live their lavish dreams without guilt. Interesting. That is the dark side of investment banking. We touched on image, lifestyle, work-life balance, culture, colleagues, repetitive tasks, sustainability, salary, and fluctuating fortunes. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash the like button down below. It helps the channel grow. We're on 90,000 subscribers. Help me get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and that will be amazing. And I'll get one of those YouTube silver plaque things, what have you, which will be cool. But yeah, if you made it to the end, thank you so much. Let me know what video you want to see next. If you've got any questions or comments, leave them down below, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.